Hey, 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 how is it going? My name's Ross, and I want you to take a ride with me. If you're just getting into Linux and maybe you've downloaded Linux Mint, I'm going to take you for a little ride. And we're going to take our time, we're going to enjoy our time, and have fun doing it. I'm going to show you some things that I learned about Linux Mint that I didn't know before. And I'll probably get sidetracked and I'll probably go bird walking. But what we're going to do is I'm using Ubuntu, but I have a Linux Mint virtual machine here. So when I go full screen on this guy, you're not going to ever know. There we go. Now I have Linux Mint. I changed my desktop background, as you can see. Um, your desktop backgrounds can be changed very easily. You can download new ones. Now mine not may not my desktop may not look like yours, and I'm going to show you how to change it to whatever your heart desires. And then I'm going to show you about cool little features that are just not obvious that Linux Mint has. And then I'm going to show you a couple other little things that you can do that will increase your workflow and simplicity of life in general. First off, let's do these desktop backgrounds. It's very simple. What I do when I go after backgrounds is you can go to settings. There's your settings. Now, backgrounds is the first one. There's another way to do that. If you right click, there's a customize option. But that's not what we're looking for, is it? Oh, goodness. All right. We go to settings. And if you're not sure where settings are, hit your Windows key and type SETT and then scroll down to System Settings. All right. So backgrounds is one of the first settings. And as you can see, I have like the pictures folder. These are different folders with different Linux Mint backgrounds. You can choose from any of them. That's a stock Linux Mint background. You can choose. I'm just not a fan of that little symbol. It's kind of annoying. I don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it, but it just doesn't impress me. These other folders are stock on the different versions of Linux Mint. I think one of these, I think Ulana is version 19 and Lulissa is 20, and I'm not positive, but the different versions have a different name. This one is Linux Mint. Not even sure what it is, to be honest with you. Let's go to About and see. System info. Linux Mint Cinnamon. That's Cinnamon is the desktop version. We didn't get into that, so we're not getting into that. Anyway, we're in backgrounds. You have different options here. Now, if you don't see the options that you want, nothing strikes your fancy, pull up your web browser. Type in what you want. Let's type in clouds background. All right, search. Oh no, we're in Yahoo by default. What in the world is wrong with that? So, whatever, that's fine. I'm clicking on images. Find me a nice, beautiful clouds background. There's a nice one. It says that it's 6,000 by 4,000 pixels. That should be good. Save image as. Now, when you're saving image as, try to always save as so that you can put that image where you want to put it. I'm going to put it in documents. Don't do this yet. We're going to call it clouds. Okay, I put it in clouds. Now, where is it? Oh, it's not here. It's not here because I saved it in documents. We should probably save it in pictures because pictures is one of the folders that's open and available. So just remember that when you're going to download stuff, make sure you know where you're saving it. We're going to save it to clouds. We're going to save it to pictures. Save. All right. Now it's there. It's in pictures. Now I have my desktop background. All right. Good job, Ross. While we're there, we want to open up files. Down here on the bottom, there's files. Let's open up files and let's go through our files. These are all files. You have your home folder, which is desktop documents, downloads, music, pictures, public templates, and videos. And then underneath that, you have these shortcuts to those same folders. Here is your file system. This is everything. Okay, this basically goes back to your root folder. And inside of your root folder, you can click on the home folder. The home folder will open your user folder, and that folder is where home is. Okay, that folder is where we are. Now, I remember that I saved clouds into documents. So let's open that. I wanted to save it into pictures, which is right here. So I'm going to grab it, hold down the trigger, and I'm going to move it to pictures. Now, my other clouds is in pictures. We're going to change the desktop background. You right click, change the desktop background, clouds. Now I'm happy. Now life is good. Let's go back to settings. Let's go back to settings and look at themes. I want to show you the themes because there's lots of cool themes. Now, you click on the Windows borders, icons, controls, mouse pointer, and desktop, and you can pick whatever you want. You can mix and match these as much as you please. But there is add and remove here in the center. Click on add and remove. Scroll down and find some cool looking stuff with some cool looking colors. Now, these are just things that people have made. They may or not be your fancy, but if you see something you like, just come over to the arrow down here and click install. Now, it says install. It's not installing it like you would think, oh no, it's going to change it to that. It puts it in the themes over here. So we go back from add and remove to themes, and then we'll go to desktop and see if we can find the one that we just downloaded. There it is. See if we can find it here. You choose it. I don't know where it's at. There's so many. Here. There you go. So I've mixed and matched the ones that I like. The one that I have is called Mint XP. It kind of looks like the old XP system. Now, before we move on, if you close this window thinking that it's going to take you back, it will not. This arrow takes you back. Okay. One of the other things, you can look through this stuff if you want to and find stuff that you want to mess with. One of the things that I do is go to desktop and I turn off the computer and the home icon tickers just to get that off my screen. I don't like it because right here is files and I can get to both of those very easily from there. So I always turn these off. You can leave them on. You can turn on trash if you want also. do leave on mounted drives, because if I were to insert an SD card or flash drive, it will pop up on my screen and it will be here on my screen. So it makes it easy to find and deal with. Hit the back button. Now, one of my favorite, absolutely favorite features of Linux Mint, and some other distributions have it, but Linux Mint was the first that I know of. It's called Hot Corners. Man, you want to talk about workflow. Hot Corners will, it's just awesome. It's just absolutely awesome, especially on a laptop. You can enable these hot corners. I like to enable the top one and the bottom corner, opposite corners. I don't normally enable this bottom one here because when I go down to the start menu, I'll show you what I mean in just a second. But I always enable two, this top left and the bottom right, and I'll show you why. So on the top left, I like to put show all windows. And on the bottom right, you can choose show all workspaces, show all windows, or show the desktop, or run a command. Now show the desktop shows the desktop. Uh, well, I closed it. Oh no, let me get back to it. If nothing else, just enable the one in the top left corner, and I'll show you why. So enable this corner to show all windows, and then when you open up some stuff, let's open up a calculator. Let's open up Clouds Picture. Let's open up the file folder. Let's open up Firefox web browser. Now I have all these things open, right? And they're all here. They're all in different places. And I'm working on something. Let me open this file folder. We'll right click this and open in a new window this file folder. So I got a lot of stuff going on my desktop. Now, what I need to do is get back to my calculator. And I got all these windows now. I could move these guys around. I could try to close everything down. But what with my hot corners enabled, I just take my mouse and jam it up into the top corner of the screen. Now I can just pick, boop. I absolutely love that. Jam it up in the top corner and choose my window. Jam it up in the top corner and choose my window. That is, I love it. I love hot corners. So use hot corners. Now, the reason I put it in the top left is because there's really not much up here. Um, if you put it in the top right, every time you go to close a window, it's going to do this. And the same is true every time you want to go down here. If you have it in the bottom left, it will do that. Unless you move this whole thing, if you move all of this to the top, then maybe one of the bottom corners would be good. But I absolutely love that, and you'll thank me later. So enable that top left hot corner. Your keyboard, you got lots of different stuff here. You can add your online accounts to get notifications if you wish. Um, but that's really all I do here. One thing you should do definitely is driver manager. I'm on a virtual machine, so I'm not sure if it's going to do anything. But open the driver manager and let it search your computer for hardware. If you have a graphics driver or a speakers or microphone or Wi-Fi cards and all kind of stuff, this software will find that and it will say, "Hey, your computer's running good, but did you know you didn't have a driver for these speakers? You're using the default speakers and you have these other speakers that are better, or your camera or your microphone, or a lot of times it's graphics cards though. You should run additional driver manager and it'll come up and it'll say, "Hey, you need this driver for your graphics card." You may not even know that you're not using your graphics card because you're using the internal Intel or whatever graphics card. So run that guy. Okay, that's all of that for now. Let's talk about files. All right, so files is very simple. You open files and you have your desktop. Desktop is here. All of this is your desktop, just like Windows, documents, downloads, music, pictures, and all. But different from Windows, my computer right here, File System. Now you can click this little thing, or you can click File System. And this is sort of your root folder, okay? But not to worry, if you're in your File System and you double click on Home, that brings up your user folder. Double click on that, and now you're back into your home folder. That'll make more sense later. Now, I prefer this to be in detailed view. So here, details. I like this view because when I do something, like let's say that I had pictures that I took pictures and downloaded them onto my computer. I like detailed, and I was like, well, which one was the last one? Click on date modified, and it will sort them by time, and I can see that 7:59 p.m. November the 10th was the last one I downloaded. Anyway, same as Windows, same as Windows. Um, One thing that I wanted to show you was Pipewire. If you're doing audio stuff, and I'm not so positive that it's going to work on a Linux Mint, but what we're going to do is we're going to find out, and you're going to watch me find out. We're going to do a sudo apt install Pipewire, and I'm going to find out if it's going to work here. There's a package manager for it, and it is installing, and it is installed. Awesome. Now I'm going to try something else. Sudo apt install Carla. All right. So there's a Carla in Linux Mint also. Now with these two pieces of software, Pipewire is going to completely make your audio experience, your audio microphones, it's so much better than the default Pulse audio stuff. And Carla is a program that will allow you to patch all of your audio to any other of your audio. Now, hopefully, if it worked correctly, we will see in here, let's type in C-A-R Carla. See here, Carla? This is our Carla control. Now, there's a lot of things you can do with this, but all you really need to learn is to click on Patch Bay here. You click on the Patch Bay, and then you can hold Control and mouse wheel in and out. And then you can move this guy around here, or just make the window full screen. Okay? There's different ways to move around. What I do is in and out by holding control and scrolling my mouse wheel, and then I will hold down the mouse wheel, the center click on your mouse if you have one. Hold that down and you can move it around. Okay? These are my audio inputs and outputs. MIDI is, so I got audio input left and right. This would be the microphones on my computer, and audio output left and right. This would be the microphones on my computer. Now, if I were to have plug in a Bluetooth headset or a if I had a USB mixer or if I had a ProSonus USB audio interface, when I plug that in, it will pop up right here. And then you would be able to say, I want to plug this into that. Oh, oh, oh. See how I just plugged my microphone into my speakers and it started feeding back. So that's totally possible to do anything. Look, we're going to go to Mint. I'm going to type in YouTube. I mean, not Mint. We're going to go to the browser and I'm going to type in YouTube. I'm going to open a YouTube video, but I want you to look back at Carla. It's not playing audio yet. Wait a second. Click on the YouTube video. Let's look at Carla now. Let's hit refresh. Maybe we need to hit refresh.
You think your wife can hear you?
No.
And why bother?
Oh, you know.
You're going to die.
Well.
Maybe not.
Goodbye to you, my trusted friend.
It's not working like it should. This is a virtual machine. So we have to keep that in mind. It's a virtual machine. So, but your web browser should also pop up here. And then you can pipe the audio from the web browser to any output you have. If you have multiple outputs, type in Carla and see what you can find on the YouTubes on that. Pretty awesome if you're doing audio stuff. It also has Carla also has a control. It also has a rack. You go to your patch bay. Let's move this around. It also has a rack where you can add plugins like equalizer. You just type in EQ. You type in let's just scroll them. There's not all that many here. You can download more, but there's lots of gain, patch bay. You have to do some searching on Carla to find more stuff. But on my Carla, on my Ubuntu box here, you see all my inputs and outputs and how they're working together. It says I'm using my Bluetooth monitor and it's going to OBS, and the stereo monitor that could actually be turned off. But then right here we have my actual, this is the Virt Manager. This manages my virtual machines. So it looks like automatically it took the microphones from my computer, plugged them into the virtual machine, and the virtual machine output is plugged into my computer speakers. So it's pretty neat how all that works. And it works automatically and independently. You don't have to do anything to it to make it work. Let me go back to YouTube just to see what if it will come up here again. Just to see. But definitely play with that.
If you have moderate to severe rheumatoid
Yeah, well,
arthritis,
it's not
Enbrel
gonna
helps
pop
relieve
up, but
joint pain
this
so
is
you
what it
can
would look
say,
like.
I'm in. Enbrel may lower your
Um,
ability to fight infections. Serious, sometimes fatal events, including
while we're on
infections,
that
tuberculosis.
note, I'm gonna show you a little bit about. Let me close my virtual machine down. I've showed you some stuff, which is plenty enough for now. Let me show you about Carla. So Carla and Pipewire is sort of the back end. There's really not much to do with Pipewire other than install it. And Carla is the kind of the patch bay. So right now we're using BT Mono and OBS. So BT Mono is my Bluetooth earpiece. Um, it's a PLT Legend, if that means anything to anybody. But so I'm gonna go to the rack right here, and I'm gonna right click and add a plugin. I'm gonna add a equalizer. Equalizer. We'll do EQ. Here's a 16 parametric equalizer. Go back to the patch bay. We're gonna refresh the patch bay. Refresh. There's my equalizer. This is Carla's thingamajig right here. So I'm gonna disconnect. All right, you should be hearing me again now. All right, so I disconnected it and reconnected it through the patch bay, Carla patch bay. Now we can go to the rack and we can hit settings on the rack. Look at this. Look at this. Um, we can turn these guys on. Let's turn on the high pass. Let's turn on the low. There's my high pass and my low pass. I'm gonna turn the I'm gonna turn the high pass into a bell. Um, if it will work. There we go. Now we got deep voice. Deepy, 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 deepy. All right, let's just take one of these, make another bell. I'm gonna put it over here. All right, so I don't know if I sound any better or any worse, but there is that. Um, and it's all thanks to this. We're gonna also go into the rack and we're going to add a plug-in. Let's do a phaser. Let's do reverb. Let's do reverb. Reverb's awesome. All right, so it should be on now. Um, hopefully it is. Let's go to the GUI. All right, there's the reverb. We'll do the pre-delay and the decay time. I can't hear it because I'm just talking, but anyway. So we can also bypass it, just like that. So we bypass that, and I'm gonna also bypass the audio from the equalizer because I don't know what it sounds like. But anyway, um, definitely check out uh, Pipewire and Carla. You can try Carla without doing Pipewire, but I don't know if the stuff will come up or not. Try a sudo apt install Carla, and then if you get some stuff there, then maybe you're good. But also do some research on Pipewire because I believe it is so much better. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Loving Linux, loving life, loving y'all.